The Mendon-Honeoye Falls-Lima Sentinel welcomes you to this edition of the Mayors and Supervisors Weekly Update, brought to you by...
Each week, our community makes history. Each week, you make history. And each week, there's only one source to turn to for the first take on history. You know what that is? Subscribe to the Sentinel right now to discover the history being made in your own backyard.
The Mendon-Honeoye Falls-Lima Sentinel. More than just your news, it's your history.
Welcome, everyone, to this week's edition of the Mayors and Supervisors Update. I'm Chris Carosa, publisher of the Mendon-Honeoye Falls-Lima Sentinel, and each week we bring you the goings-on in the towns and villages that we cover. This week we're going to be starting with Tim Sheefen in the town of West Bloomfield. How's the wind in West Bloomfield, Tim?
It's hazy and it tastes like smoke. Although today's a blue sky here in West Bloomfield, so the weather people were pretty accurate, and it looks like it's cleaned up quite a bit. So get out and enjoy some of the sunshine. I'm looking forward to doing that at lunchtime, getting out, going around. So let's get going here. Recent town board meeting. I really feel compelled to explain some stuff to my constituents about the town board meeting. You know, you sit in a town board meeting and you hear all this, I need a resolution to forward this along, and hey, can I get a motion? Hey, can somebody second this? And then is there any discussion? And then let's all vote, right? So some people don't understand what that's all about. The town board gets together and we need to agree on things, and we need to do certain things. And every month we do the same things. We put a resolution through to pay the bills. That way, if there's a bill that comes through that seems weird or crazy, maybe one of my town board members will catch it and say, hey, why are we sending Jones Company this $3,500, right? So we review these vouchers, we call them, and they're basically the bills like you get in the mail. And we look them over, and then a board member signs off on them, and I sign off on them. That's because we've taken time to read them, understand what they were, and realize, hey, this is a bill we need to pay, and this is a bill we authorized. So we don't talk about these bills. We're not going to talk about 75 bills I got to pay or 75 checks I got to write. We're just going to take the time, review those. If there's a question, we're going to raise it. We're going to talk about the specific concern of the question. We're going to motion a resolution through. We're going to pass a resolution. We're going to move on to the next item on the list. So if you don't hear a lot of chit chat, there probably isn't a lot to talk about. Sometimes you're going to hear a lot of chit chat when we got something that requires a little more attention, a little more scrutiny. Maybe my board members are a little late coming in on a subject and they're not fully versed with what we're talking about or why the matter's before the town board. And that's the purpose of the conversation. And I've been to town board meetings where there's no conversation, there's no questions, there's no comment. And that always made me uncomfortable. You know, I want to hear what's going on. I want to understand what they're talking about. I want to know these people are taking time to look into what's going on and understand the matters that they're looking over and voting on and so on. So the next time you come to any town board meeting, pay attention, listen in, and you'll probably figure out what's being talked about. And, you know, if there's any quality to that town board, they're talking about it, they're asking the questions, they're getting those answers, and that's the time we have to do it. We can't meet behind closed doors. We don't get together in the picnic and have a luncheon and talk about all this stuff beforehand. That's not allowable under the open meetings law. We're supposed to air all this stuff right there in the boardroom. We're supposed to have the moxie and the morals to sit there and talk about this stuff in the public realm and bring these questions to light and so on. So maybe that'll answer some questions for some people, what goes on. I sit there and read all this legal stuff, whereas the town board has been authorized to blah, 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 blah. If you don't want to hear that, I can ask for a motion not to have to read it, and we could move on and we could streamline the meetings. But I choose to read that. And the reason I choose to read that is A, it's the law, and B, maybe this will explain to some of you people what this is about. You know, maybe you're bored and you don't want to listen to it. Hey, that's your choice. But if you're not, and you're a sponge and you're dying for information, that's why it's necessary for us to take the time and read the legalese, whether it's just a simple item, it's an update to policy, code, or town law, or it's a public hearing. Then we move on and we say all in favor, say aye, all opposed, say nay, and then we decide whether the motion carries. Hey, we're sitting in a room. I can hear all 5 board members say aye. So if I say any opposed and nothing happens, sometimes I skip that. And if that makes people unhappy, I'll say any opposed. But we're all sitting there. We can all see the lips move. I can all hear all the 5 voices. Most of the things we put through does go through unanimously, unless it's a hotbed issue. And then sometimes you're going to hear people say, no, I don't agree with that, or no, I'm not going to vote for that. And good for them. Stand by your convictions. That's what I ask of anybody in our position. And that's what I ask of our board members. The executive session. I absolutely hate executive session. I hate it. There's no reason for it. Every so often we got to have it, right? Okay, we got an issue. It's sensitive. I can't talk about somebody's personnel matter. I can't talk about somebody's payroll in the public realm. I get that. Okay, we're going to go into executive session. Hey, we got a matter before the board. We got a lawyer breathing down our neck because he's not happy about something, a policy, a law, a decision made. Okay, maybe we got to walk out into the back room and have an executive session and talk about the sensitive area. And there's some details in there that isn't the public information, or there's some advice or some guidance in there, or there's some policy or some matter in front of us that we have to learn. This isn't how we do it, or this isn't how it's done. So yeah, there are some times it's necessary for executive session, but I'm going to go on record. I'm going to go on YouTube. I'm going to tell my constituents and hopefully my town board members, I don't like executive session, period. We should air all of our laundry right there in the public realm, and we should be prepared to do so. All right, so there you go. There's a little 2 cents worth on the executive session. This last month at public comment time, we had a neighbor come in and complain about the speed zones and the speeds of people traveling through our hamlets. The 2-lane blacktop racetrack that occurs at the light when somebody's turning left and somebody's going straight, and the guy on the right's got to pass 7 cars and rocket ship through the intersection. We're sick and tired of that. Everybody's tired of that. So I did what we do. I made a phone call. I called the state troopers barracks. I had a nice conversation. I asked for a little more consideration out here in that circumstance from the state police. Guess what? They are here. They're getting people. I saw 7 people pulled over just a day or 2 ago from the front of my auto shop, and I was very pleased to see these people pulled over and maybe cited because they're flying past my shop so freaking fast I don't even see them. I just hear them. I also picked up my cell phone and I personally reached out to our Ontario County Sheriff, David. I'm going to ruin his name. Sorry, David. David Cicerone, maybe. David and I are acquainted, even though I can't pronounce his last name very well. What a stand-up guy. He texted me back within 3 minutes, and I saw a huge presence this week of the Ontario County Sheriffs out there doing just the same thing. So residents, watch your speed. Watch your traffic, wear your seatbelt because they're out there and nobody is immune to the long arm of the law. All right, let's move on. I got a call from one of my neighbors about cow manure. We have a huge dairy presence in this town, and we have a whole bunch of liquefied cow manure spread on our town, our neighboring town. Sorry, Joe. Sorry, those other neighboring towns that get some of our cow poop. Unfortunately, our farm did have to spend some liquid manure on some grass fields that will not be tilled in, and that did cause a couple days of stink. Like you folks, I'm surrounded by it. All 4 sides of my home are surrounded by the dairy farm. I get it from every direction, from every area, and often. I don't like it, just like you don't like it. But I will say that the Muller family who runs Bonatera Farms has done a much better job than the previous family that ran that farm. And we don't put up with it as long, and it doesn't smell as bad as it used to. I know it stinks. Nobody likes it. But it's one of the byproducts we're stuck with here. I did reach out to the farm. I did ask them if they could be a little tidier about the application, and they're going to do their best for us. Historical Society yard sale. Our West Bloomfield Historical Society had their annual yard sale last weekend. We had a fantastic couple of days. The weather was spectacular. It didn't rain at all. It was sunny. It was warm some days. We had a huge turnout. Tons of people came by. We had a couple celebrities stop in. Our very own Senator Pam Helming stopped by and was doing a little thrift shopping and getting some bargains. She scored a terrific American flag we had for sale there. It was oversized. She says she's going to put it in her office. Had a nice conversation with her. She's a super dynamic lady and very helpful and very personable. She goes to bat for us quite a bit here in our district, so I certainly appreciate her. I also had a visit from another local celebrity and a personal friend, meteorologist Marty Snyder. Little shout out to Marty Snyder. Marty's a great guy. I've known Marty for over 20 years. He happens to be the zoning board chairman down in Bristol. So Marty offered some of his expertise if we need it, because we've got a new forming zoning board and they're working out some kinks. So Marty said he'd be happy to be a resource if we need that. This week's shout out is for Schlenker's Farm Market. Now, many of you know I'm best friends with Chip White over at White's Farm Markets. We've been friends for 45 or more years. But I shouldn't say this in the public realm. Almost every night I go down to Schlenker's and buy 1 or 2 ears of corn because it's fresh picked. And my buddies at the Schlenker's Farm Market have got great products down there, reasonable prices. And Kate Schlenker and I see each other almost on a daily basis because I'm a huge sweet corn fan. And it's their own corn. It's grown right here in our community. And it is out of this world, folks. So get yourselves over to Schlenker's Farm and treat yourself to some of the fantastic produce that's grown right here in our own backyard. Last but not least, last night we had our Ontario County Board of Supervisors meetings, and that's always an adventure. And I'm surrounded by 21 members of that board that are all fantastic people, great resources. I'm becoming friends with each and every one of them. We're all on first name basis, and we all do things for each other. So last night, Jack Marin for Victor said he'd put a flyer up for a car show that's coming up at the former Addison Fairways on High Street in Victor. My daughter's the activity director there, so I asked him for a little help, and he's more than happy to oblige. I invited some of my other town supervisors like myself that are car enthusiasts to bring their old cars over there and get a free lunch. And I reached out my hand and shook Sheriff David Cirancione, maybe I got it right that time's hand, and thanked him personally for the extra coverage here in West Bloomfield. David, if you're watching this, you're a stand-up guy. I have never met another member of law enforcement that has been so gleeful and accommodating as you are. God bless you and all of your force. That should wrap me up here in beautiful downtown West Bloomfield. Go out and enjoy the day, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for your time.
Okay, thanks, Tim. We've got this in from John Cates, a supervisor of Lima. It's a relatively quiet week here in Lima, but we have fielded a few calls regarding Water District number 5 this week. The work and survey that you may see going on is environmental. It's the environmental survey, geotech borings, and things of that nature, which help us to put together the most accurate bid package that we can to contractors. The less contingencies that a contractor has to consider, the better pricing we can receive. We are still waiting for comments on the plan from some state agencies that we need before we can put out an RFP, but we still expect to have that happen in the fall. While Lima is working on our district, the Livingston County Sewer and Water Authority is also working on their regional upgrades, which includes the water main that will feed Lima. The county project is expected to be complete in August of 2027. We are less than 2 weeks away from the Crossroads Festival. The council has a lot of great acts lined up for you to see. It's completely free and gives us all a chance to get out and interact with our neighbors. So let's do it. What are we really doing anyways? I don't know what he said there, but that's what he wrote. All right, so that's from John Cates from the town of Lima. Now let's go over to Lee Hankins, town of Rush. What's rushing in Rush, Lee?
Good morning. Happy to be a part of this morning. The town hall exterior has been cleaned, removed years of dirt and grime that we worked on, and I hope people will drive by and take a look. It's quite beautiful. The next goal is to replace windows and trim where needed before the fall. We're entering the 2027 budget season. The preliminary budget is expected to be on time and ready for review in early September. As the Chief Financial Officer for the town, working with our newly appointed bookkeeper and financial assistant and our accounting firm. Now we are settling our budget priorities, including the following. Stay under the 2% tax cap. Protect the salaries and benefits of current employees. Keep our salaries competitive to attract and retain quality employees. It's not easy to meet those goals. Fortunately, our town is in very good financial shape with a strong fund balance, but we need to develop and implement plans to keep and expand our tax base in order to continue keeping up with increasing demands and increasing costs. As an example, current projections of 2027 cost increases include 2027 Social Security cost of living adjustment is expected to be between 3.6% and 3.8%, down from projected increase of over 4% just a month ago. State retirement increases 16.9%. Health insurance, Excellus is asking for a 17% rate increase. Utilities, 7% increase. Also, I will be asking the town board and at our next board meeting for their approval to establish a citizen committee for finance and communications and recruit volunteers, citizens with experience in municipal budgeting to assist me and help us achieve our goals and meet our budget priorities for this year and to start to develop a 5-year financial plan. The town board passed a resolution at our last meeting to limit access to the town attorney and have matters screened before inquiring expenses. At our upcoming board meeting, I will be proposing a resolution to put a limit on monthly costs. These strategies will control costs for the remainder of the year and allow us to reduce the annual costs projected in 2027. Our budget planning for development is on the way. A board workshop will be scheduled for August 8th. Department heads will be invited to let the board know their special budget needs. The public is encouraged to attend and listen. There will be a public hearing in October when the public can let us know if they approve or disapprove of the proposed budget. Now that our primary is over, I can really get busy doing a lot more work and focus on that work. River Road water. Back in April, the aquifer was punched and we lost quite a bit of water. Some of the homes on River Road is now still concerned whether or not they will have enough water to continue through the season. So I'll leave it at that. But that I will be working hard to try and accomplish, making sure that the River Road area has sufficient water. So that's it for me today.
Okay. Thanks, Lee. And now it's over to Rick in Honeoye Falls. Rick, what's happening in Honeoye Falls?
Hey, Chris, thanks again for having us. It's always great to be here, and there's always a lot going on. This past week has certainly been a struggle with air quality. I'm sure we're all tired about hearing about it, but it's very prevalent. And when you not only have bad air quality, but then you can really smell that smoke. At least here in the village, and I know it's been all over the place, but it's been pretty bad to a point that we had to cancel our Good Vibes Flowing concert. First, we rescheduled because of the excessive heat one day. We moved it to a couple of days down the road. It was supposed to be on Thursday night, and the air quality was so bad. Not only were we concerned about our residents' health, and certainly many of the people that attend our shows may have some, poor health concern or some health concerns, if you will, especially with their breathing. But we have to be certainly in mindful thought of the performers. You think about musicians up on a stage, whether they're playing an instrument or singing, they're taking those deep breaths, and with bad air quality, it just doesn't make sense to have an outdoor concert like that in these types of conditions. So, we canceled. So this was kind of an odd week for us. Mother Nature has been very, very unpredictable as of late. We need some rain, and we have the other comments about, people say, my goodness, what happened to the falls? And it just seems like a month ago they were raging. So it's amazing how fast things change. But listen, we'll make it through. We'll get these concerts rescheduled as best we can, and we appreciate everyone's understanding. Couple of other things I just want to mention. I just want to remind people we're struggling a little bit to get some advertising out, but just remember, save the dates. August 14th, we definitely have our America 250 celebration going on. It's going to be, a small event, but it's going to be a fun event. We've got a band playing down at the Firemen's Training Grounds on Monroe Street, beginning around 6 or 6:30. We're going to have 2 food trucks, as I mentioned last week, Pat's Pigs and Say Cheese Please New York. 2 local food trucks, which is nice to have, a local band. We're going to have a big bonfire, and then we're going to have a great fireworks presentation as well. So save the date, August 14th, and then August 15th, of course, is our Festival at the Falls, which is a one-day event right on West Main Street. It's a great day. Looking forward to that and appreciate all the people that support that event. Moving backwards a little bit to Sunday, August 9th, be looking for some advertisements for our Friends of Bourne Ice Cream Social. Each year, the Friends of Bourne, which is a group of local people, we have a sister city in Bourne, Haiti, that we support locally. And each year, Dipper Dan's Ice Cream is agreeable to having an ice cream social up there where a portion of all those proceeds go right to the Friends of Bourne to support our friends in Bourne, Haiti. So Sundays in the afternoon, it's always a great time to get ice cream. Go to Dipper Dan on the 9th and get some great ice cream and support this event. Last thing I want to bring up again is a little bit about the urgent care. That obviously has been a big topic of conversation within the community. There has been a lot on Facebook. I just want to say once again, believe me, there are a lot of things that representatives of the village would like to put out there, but there is a process. As I said before, we are in a unique situation where the village owns the property that's being sold. We feel it, and it's really by design that we're not saying a whole lot, because we feel the developers and the architects and all that, they're doing their job to get the message out, and they're going through the zoning board process. We don't want to be seen as a village as influencing the zoning board of appeals or influencing Mendon or anyone else involved in this. At the same time, we do want to get some information out. We did put a long, detailed list of information out on our website this week. We did do a link to our Facebook page, but we're not going to get into debate on Facebook, because quite honestly, there are just no winners in that. So we're trying to put some information out. We will say that Monday, August 3rd is the next zoning board meeting, specifically dealing with the urgent care, primary care development. We are hoping to see that all move forward as of that date. We'll close the public hearing. We'll move into a final presentation and then go through the process. But there is a process. But I've said many times, and quite honestly, I've said right on this Sentinel publication in months past, if you have questions, I'm open to dialogue. All you have to do is call the village office. Let's set up an appointment. I'm happy to sit down with you and talk about your concerns, talk about what the process has been. We are an open book here, and all you've got to do is reach out, and I'm reaching out again. If you want to talk to me, send me an email, mayor@villageofhoneoyefalls.gov. Reach out to me at the village hall, set up an appointment. We're happy to talk. So with that, the last thing I want to say on that is I do want to also say that I do appreciate, again, the support and the dialogue I've had with Supervisor Alati with the town of Mendon. He has been supportive of the project process and certainly has communicated some things to his town board members, and that's in process. Also to the library team. And we think we're in a very good position right now moving forward. We hope that we've answered a lot of the questions. And I do know that the developer, the purchaser of the property, Thompson Health, has made a lot of concessions because they want to be good partners and good community members. So we appreciate their efforts as well. So with that, we'll continue down this process. We'll continue through the process. And again, Chris, I thank you for the opportunity to speak in this forum each and every week. Take care.
Thanks, Rick. And now it's over to Joe. Joe in the town of Mendon. What's moving in Mendon?
Hey, everyone. Nice to see everybody here, hear what's going on in the other towns. This past Monday, July 13th, we held our monthly town board meeting. Some key takeaways include the board appointed Adam Toy to the zoning board, filling a recent vacancy, and Adam is highly qualified, and we are fortunate to have him. So welcome, Adam. We passed a proposal to repair a failing retaining wall on a state right-of-way that is affecting the sidewalk there. I want to clarify that the town is not using town resources to benefit one resident. We have an obligation to protect our sidewalk, and that is at the center of this project. It does involve doing the work that we will have to encroach onto the homeowner's property in order to get this work done. And for that, we are doing some things there, adding some soil that will have to be graded into his property, and therefore it could look like we're working on a resident's property, which is factually true, but it's for other reasons that are protecting the town's interest, namely the sidewalk. And there's some other things that do affect the town regarding this project, but I just want people to understand what it's all about. At the board meeting, we also discussed a topic that is on everybody's mind. It's the Village Urgent Care Project. It involves the town because the town owns the library and the right-of-way access that will improve the urgent care's access, making the entry and exit to their facility safer, as opposed to using the current driveway that is there going to the Critics Restaurant. On July 2nd, myself, along with our town engineer, the mayor, the architect, the U of R representative, the developers and planners, and all important parties attended a meeting for the new urgent care facility. The town of Mendon's interests were well represented, and I will say that the parties working with the village, all of the developers, have not only heard the people, but they satisfactorily answered all of the town's concerns and questions. They were all very attentive and made many changes that our town engineer and myself were very satisfied with. I've also met with our resident experts here at Town Hall, and we are all very satisfied. We also heard how extensive a search for alternate locations was made. And I'll concur, after listening to everybody, I believe that a thorough job was done on that. We have to keep in mind that the owners of the property get to make decisions for what it is that they want to do with their own property. As long as they comply with all the regulations and laws, zoning and planning board, then that is all we can work within. I know a large number of concerned citizens will want to hear all about these changes, and I'm not sure that they have. At this point, I'm very comfortable with the current changes and that the town's concerns have been satisfied. I've met with our important folks at the library. Lila Grills is the director of the library, and she's been a staunch advocate for the library's interests here, and I really appreciate her and the trustees for their concerns and intelligent feedback. The village will be sharing the details very soon, and I've already initiated conversations with key people. The people of this town and the people of the village are part of our town and very important to me. So I want to make sure that the changes made are satisfactory to as many people as possible and that is well communicated. The U of R Thompson has stated they want to be a partner in our community. I believe that is true. They did not need to make any of these changes to get the project through. Here's why I believe they listened to the community. They are donating 3,800 square feet of green space to the town of Mendon that will forever be part of the library. All of the trees at the rear of the property fall into this green space so that those trees shading the library will be saved. To allow the green space, they have lowered the height and reduced the size of the parking lot for the urgent care from 37 spaces to 29. The library will give them 8 parking spaces in the back of the library parking lot for their employee parking. The lowering of the parking lot allows a better sight line to our beautiful library building that will no longer be blocked by cars in the parking lot. They have lowered the elevation of the front of the building and moved it forward by 10 feet in order to give the library more space and to better fit into the current architecture. The front of the building has incorporated numerous features such as window design and cornices that match the current design of adjacent buildings. They are widening the current library driveway by 3 feet, making entry and exit far safer for all. They've added another sidewalk for safer walkability to both the library and the urgent care. I've been made aware that there are some zoning and comprehensive plan issues that some people are talking about. To me, that's between the mayor, the developers, and the people. The people of the village created that comprehensive plan with the village, and so that issue is between them. The town's concerns have been satisfied. I can attest that I'm in favor of the urgent care project because I think with the changes they have made, I believe it will greatly benefit the community in many ways, and I believe it's much needed. You have a right to disagree. If you disagree, then feel free to reach out to me. My office is open. I will listen. But really, this decision isn't up to me. The town's interests have been satisfied. It's really between the owners of the property. So one other thing I wanted to clear up is a lot of people think that at the end of 10 years, the U of R can pull out of this arrangement and leave this large building abandoned. But they can't and they won't. At the end of the 10-year agreement, they will buy the building for $1. And the U of R has never pulled out of any properties that they've developed. So, I didn't vet that, but I have to believe that they wouldn't state that publicly and in our meeting if it wasn't true. So I think that, they're doing their best to accommodate us, and they've bent over backwards where I don't believe they really had to. So that's it, what I have to say on urgent care. Again, call me, stop in and see me. I'm all ears.
All right.
Well, I just quickly want to say that as we enter budget season at Town Hall, we saw continued work on that front. Mo Bickweed, our deputy supervisor, Janet Way, our finance officer, we all met with our accountant to gain some insight and begin the 27 budget process. So you'll be hearing more about that as time goes on. Thank you for your time. Take care.
All right. Thanks, Joe. Anybody else have anything to add? Seeing none. I'm very tempted to say all those opposed, but no, I won't, Tim. So thank you guys for being here. Thank you all for watching. Remember, this program airs every Sunday at 1 o'clock on our Facebook page and YouTube channel. Like the page, subscribe to the channel, and those platforms will notify you when the broadcast begins. Otherwise, you can read the transcript in next week's paper. That's all for now. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye. Imagine yourself communicating with a difference. Pan-Dimensional Solutions helps you do this. Whether live spectator events, taped broadcasts, or real-time audience-engaging programs, you can benefit immediately from the tools Pan-Dimensional Solutions will share with you. Do you want to make a difference? Contact us at pandimensional.com.